After 10 years, my family excluded me from our reunion. Their faces turned pale when they saw the house. The invitation sat in my inbox like a ticking bomb. Annual Brooks Family Beach House Reunion. Save the date. My sister Trinity's cheerful mass email might as well have been addressed to everyone but me. I knew how this would play out the same way it had for the past 5 years. My name is Quinn, and I'm the family disappointment. At least that's what my mother Iris never fails to remind me, whether through pointed silence or barely concealed sighs of disapproval. "You're not going to let it get to you again this year, are you?" Remington asked, peering over my cubicle wall. His concerned expression made me quickly close the email. "Of course not," I lied, forcing a smile. "Just another day at the office." But it wasn't just another day. The family beach house held every meaningful memory from my childhood before things changed, before I became the outsider. I remember the summer I turned 12 when everything shifted. "Quinn, darling, why don't you help in the kitchen?" Mom had said while Trinity got to join Dad's business meetings on the deck. "Nelson, sweetheart, go show the neighbors your new project." While I sat alone reading books they deemed a waste of time. My phone buzzed. A text from my childhood friend Savannah. Let me guess, another reunion email. I typed back, bingo. "Wanna bet how long before Mom calls to explain why there's limited space this year?" The answer came within the hour. My mother's name flashed across my phone screen right on schedule. "Quinn, dear," she started, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness. "About the reunion." "Let me save you the trouble, Mom." I cut in, surprising myself with my steadiness. "The house is too full, right? Trinity's kids need their space, or is it Nelson's new girlfriend who needs the extra room this year?" The silence on the other end was deafening. "Well, you know how it is," she finally managed. "Trinity's children are at such an important age." I glanced at the promotion letter sitting on my desk, the one I hadn't told them about. Senior Vice President at 35, the youngest in the company's history. "Yeah, Mom. I know exactly how it is." After hanging up, I walked to Lance's office, my mentor and boss for the past decade. He looked up from his computer, reading my expression instantly. "Family?" he asked, gesturing to the chair across from him. I nodded, sinking into the seat. "Sometimes I wonder why I still let it affect me." "Because you're human," he said simply. "But you know what? The best revenge is success," I offered with a weak smile. "No." He leaned forward, eyes twinkling. "The best revenge is becoming so successful they can't ignore you anymore." Speaking of which, have you considered my proposal about the Richardson merger? I pulled out my tablet, pushing thoughts of family aside. "Actually, I've been working on some numbers. What if we approached it from a different angle?" For the next hour, we dove into work, my real comfort zone. As I walked Lance through my strategy, I felt the familiar surge of confidence return. This was where I belonged, where I excelled. Later that evening, as I drove home, Savannah called. "You know what you need," she said without preamble. "A plan." "A plan for what?" "To show them exactly what they've been missing. You're not that scared little girl anymore, Quinn. You're a force to be reckoned with." I stopped at a red light, watching the city lights blur through my windshield. "What's the point?" "They've made it clear where I stand. The point is you deserve better. And maybe it's time they realize that too." After hanging up, I sat in my parked car staring at my luxury apartment building. 10 years ago, I'd started as an intern, determined to prove everyone wrong. Now I had everything they said I'd never achieve. Success, respect, independence, everything except family acceptance. My phone pinged with another email. Trinity sharing photos of last year's reunion. Smiling faces, inside jokes, shared memories I wasn't part of. But instead of the usual hurt, I felt something different stirring inside me. Determination. Opening my laptop, I pulled up the real estate website I'd been monitoring. The beach house's market value had dropped significantly in the recent economic downturn. The same beach house our parents could no longer afford to maintain. Time for a different kind of investment, I whispered to myself, clicking the contact agent button. Maybe Savannah was right. Maybe it was time for a plan. Not for revenge, I told myself, but for justice, the kind that comes with compound interest. The Richardson merger isn't just about combining assets, I explained, standing before the board of directors. It's about redefining market presence. My laser pointer highlighted key projections on the screen behind me. Remington, sitting at the far end of the conference table, gave me a subtle thumbs up. After countless late nights preparing this presentation, we both knew how crucial this moment was. And you're certain about these numbers? Mr. Richardson himself leaned forward, his weathered face scrutinizing the data. I stake my reputation on them, I replied without hesitation. More importantly, I stake the future of both our companies on them. Lance cleared his throat from his seat beside Mr. Richardson. Quinn has never steered us wrong before. Her track record speaks for itself. The meeting concluded 2 hours later with handshakes and signed preliminary agreements. As the board members filed out, Lance pulled me aside. Outstanding work, he beamed. Though I have to ask, why didn't you mention the promotion opportunity in Hong Kong? This merger's success practically guarantees you the position. My stomach tightened. The international division head role, a career-defining opportunity that happened to coincide with the upcoming family reunion dates. Still considering my options, I said carefully. Back at my desk, Remington perched on the edge, coffee in hand. Spill it. What's really holding you back? This is everything you've worked for. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Trinity's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. That's what's holding her back, Savannah announced, appearing with lunch bags. Family drama, as usual. I thought we were meeting at the cafe, I said, grateful for the interruption. Changed my mind. Besides, I wanted to see the aftermath of your big presentation. She distributed sandwiches, then fixed me with a knowing look. So, Hong Kong. News travels fast, I muttered. In this case, good news should travel fast, Remington insisted. You can't seriously be considering passing this up because of them. My phone buzzed again. A text from Trinity. Mom's asking if you got the reunion email. Please respond. Savannah grabbed my phone. Oh, hell no. You know what this is? This is them realizing they can't ignore you anymore. The family gossip vine must have caught wind of your success. Give me my phone back. I reached for it, but she held it away. Not until you promise to stop letting them dictate your life choices. I'm not, I started to protest, but Remington cut me off. Quinn, remember last month's charity gala when you commanded that room full of CEOs? That's who you really are, not the invisible middle child they made you feel like. My phone buzzed a third time. Nelson this time. Hey sis, long time. Got a minute to chat? Suddenly, everyone wants to talk, I said dryly. Because you're becoming impossible to ignore, Savannah grinned. Now, about Hong Kong. The timing, I began. Perfect, Remington finished. Show them exactly what they're missing while they're playing happy family at their precious beach house. Lance appeared in my office doorway. Quinn, Mr. Richardson wants to discuss implementation strategies over dinner tonight. I stood, straightening my jacket. Text me the details. After Lance left, Savannah raised an eyebrow. Look at you. Power moves only. It's just dinner, I said, but couldn't help smiling. Just dinner with one of the most influential men in the industry, Remington corrected. While your family probably thinks you're still pushing papers in some entry-level position. My phone lit up with another message. Mom, this time, Quinn, dear, please call when you can. Important family matters to discuss. Savannah read it over my shoulder and snorted. Important family matters? Like how they're running out of excuses to exclude you. I picked up my presentation materials, mind already shifting to the dinner ahead. They can keep their excuses. I've got an empire to build. That's my girl. Remington grinned. Speaking of building things, have you made an offer on the beach house yet? Tomorrow, I said, checking my makeup in my compact mirror. The agent says we're the only serious buyers in this market. Perfect timing, Savannah sang. Right before they announced this year's reunion details. As I gathered my things for the Richardson dinner, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. My family might have mastered the art of making me feel small, but in this world, my world, I was anything but. Hey, Remington called as I headed out. Don't forget who you are in there. Show them what Quinn Unleashed looks like. I smiled, thinking of the beach house listing waiting in my inbox. Oh, I plan to show everyone exactly who I am. Congratulations, Ms. Brooks. The beach house is yours. The real estate agent slid the keys across her desk, their metal surface gleaming under the fluorescent lights. My hand trembled slightly as I picked them up. These small pieces of metal represented more than just property ownership. They were the keys to my past and, more importantly, my future. I can't believe you actually did it, Savannah whispered beside me, squeezing my arm. The agent smiled professionally. The paperwork will be processed by end of business day. Given the current market conditions, you've made an incredibly shrewd investment. Walking out of the office, I held the keys so tight they left impressions in my palm. My phone buzzed. Lance calling. Tell me you closed the deal, he said without preamble. Just sign the papers. Perfect timing. The Hong Kong position is yours if you want it. Board approved this morning. I stopped walking, causing Savannah to bump into me. Already? I thought the decision wasn't until next month. Your performance at the Richardson dinner sealed it. Speaking of which, he specifically requested you lead the merger transition team. Savannah was practically bouncing with excitement, having heard both sides of the conversation. As I hung up, she grabbed my shoulders. Okay, this is literally perfect. You own their precious beach house and you're about to become an international executive. Please tell me you're going to milk this for all it's worth. My phone chimed with a text from Trinity, family meeting this weekend about the reunion. Mom insists you come. Please. Oh, this is too good. Savannah cackled. They have no idea you own their reunion venue. Neither does the agent, I reminded her. I made sure the purchase went through my corporation name. Sneaky. I love it. She linked her arm through mine as we walked to the car. So, what's the plan? Before I could answer, Remington called. Lance just told me the news. Both pieces of news. You're going to accept Hong Kong, right? I haven't decided, I said, putting him on speaker as we drove. What's to decide? It's perfect. You can run the merger from Asia, build your international profile, and let your family stew in their regrets. Speaking of stewing, Savannah chimed in. Quinn just got summoned to a family meeting about the reunion. No way. Remington laughed. Are you going? I turned onto the coastal road heading toward the beach house. My beach house. Actually, yes. I think it's time for a visit. The familiar drive felt different now. Every curve in the road, every glimpse of ocean between the trees belonged to me in a way it never had before. I parked in front of the sprawling Victorian home, its weathered blue paint and white trim exactly as I remembered. Savannah whistled low. I forgot how gorgeous this place is. No wonder they're desperate to keep the reunions going. Walking up the steps, I unlocked the door with my new keys. The house smelled of sea salt and memories. Summer nights, family dinners, whispered conversations, but now underneath it all was the sweet scent of victory. My phone rang. Mom. Quinn, are you coming this weekend? Trinity said she texted you. Actually, Mom, I'm at the beach house right now. Silence. Then, what? How? The realtor said it was sold. Did she? Interesting. I walked through the living room, trailing my fingers along the familiar walls. Don't worry about it. I'll see you this weekend. I hung up before she could respond. Savannah was recording everything on her phone, barely containing her glee. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Did you hear her voice crack? Send me that video, Remington said through the speaker. I need it for posterity. I opened the French doors to the deck, breathing in the ocean air. You know what's funny? They always said I didn't understand the value of family tradition. But I'm the one who saved it by buying it out from under them. Savannah added with a smirk, sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying something. It's about preserving it on your own terms, I said, watching the waves crash below. My phone buzzed again. Trinity, Nelson, and Mom in rapid succession. I ignored them all. So, Remington's voice crackled through the speaker. What's the next move, boss? I smiled, picturing the upcoming family meeting. Now, we prepare for a reunion they'll never forget. Want company this weekend? Savannah offered. I make an excellent witness. No, I said, pulling out my laptop. This is something I need to do alone. But first, I have a Hong Kong acceptance letter to write. Standing on my deck, watching my ocean, I felt the last pieces of my plan falling into place. The scared little girl who used to hide in this house's corners was gone. In her place stood someone they'd never expected, someone they'd have to acknowledge at last. The sound of car doors slamming jolted me from my laptop. I'd been working on merger documents all morning, enjoying the ocean view from my new home office when the familiar voices drifted up from the driveway. "Mom, I'm telling you," Quinn was acting weird on the phone. Trinity's voice carried through the open windows. "She's always weird," Nelson replied. "Remember last Christmas?" I closed my laptop slowly, heart pounding. They were early. The family meeting wasn't supposed to be until tomorrow. Through the window, I watched them unloading their cars like they owned the place, which of course they no longer did. My phone buzzed. "Remington, game time." "They're here early," I texted back. "Wish me luck." "Show no mercy," came his instant reply. I heard the rattle of keys at the front door, followed by confused voices. "Mom, your key isn't working," Trinity called out. "That's impossible. I just had it checked last month." I walked downstairs, each step measured and deliberate in my Louboutins. The sound of my heels on the hardwood made the voices outside fall silent. Opening the door, I smiled at their shocked faces. "Looking for something?" Mom's hand flew to her chest. "What are you doing here? How did you get in?" "I live here," I said simply, stepping aside. "Please come in. My house is your house." Literally. The silence that followed was delicious. Trinity's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Nelson dropped his duffel bag. "What do you mean you live here?" Mom finally managed. I walked to the kitchen knowing they'd follow. "Coffee?" "I just made a fresh pot. Colombian roast." "I know how much you love it, Mom." Quinn. Trinity's voice had that elder sister edge I knew so well. "What's going on?" I poured myself a cup, enjoying their confusion. "I thought the family meeting was tomorrow. Did I miss a memo?" "Oh, wait." I smiled over my cup. "I guess I'm not usually included in those." "Stop playing games," Nelson snapped. "How are you even in here?" "This is our family house." Actually, I pulled out my phone, bringing up the property documents. "It's my house now. Has been for 2 weeks. Would you like to see the deed?" Mom sank into a kitchen chair. That's impossible. We would have known." "Would you? When was the last time any of you asked what I was doing with my life?" I leaned against the counter, savoring their expressions. "Coffee?" "No? Your loss. It's imported." Trinity grabbed my phone, scrolling through the documents. "This can't be real. How could you possibly afford?" "The same way I afford my penthouse apartment, my vacation home in Aspen, and my car collection," I said casually. "I work." "Remember work? That thing you all said I'd never figure out." "Your what?" Nelson choked. A car door slammed outside again. Dad's voice boomed through the open door. "Why is everyone standing around? Help me with these groceries." "In here, Dad," I called out. "Let me help you with those." He appeared in the doorway, bags in hand, and froze. "Quinn, what's going on?" Family meeting came early. I took the bags from him, unpacking them efficiently. "Though, I should point out, next time you might want to check with me before buying groceries for my house." "Your house?" He looked at Mom, who was still sitting in shocked silence. "Perhaps we should all sit down," I suggested, gesturing to the dining room. "I believe we have some catching up to do." They followed me like dazed sheep, settling around the table where we'd had countless family meals I was often excluded from, relegated to the kitchen to help with dishes. So, I settled at the head of the table, Dad's old spot, about this year's reunion. "You can't just buy our family home," Trinity burst out. "This is our tradition." "Funny thing about traditions," I said, examining my manicure. "They're only as strong as the people maintaining them." "When the bank called about foreclosure proceedings, where was your tradition then?" Mom's head snapped up. "How did you know about that?" "I know everything, Mom. I know about the missed payments, the second mortgage, the tax liens. I know because unlike some people, I do my research before making investment decisions." My phone buzzed again. "Savannah, need backup." "All good. Operation Karma in progress," I texted back, looking up at my family's stunned faces. I smiled. "Now, about those reunion plans, I was thinking we might need to make some changes this year." After all, I gestured to the ocean view through the windows, new house, new rules. The look of dawning comprehension on their faces was better than any merger deal I'd ever closed. And we were just getting started. You could have told us, Trinity said, breaking the tense silence that had fallen over the dining room, about your success, your career, everything. Could I? I raised an eyebrow. When, between being uninvited to family gatherings or during those holiday calls that never came? Dad cleared his throat. Now Quinn, that's not entirely fair. Fair? I laughed, the sound sharp enough to make Mom flinch. Let's talk about fair. Remember my college graduation when you all skipped it because Nelson had a soccer game? That was different, Mom protested weakly. Nelson was up for a scholarship. Which he didn't get, I finished. Meanwhile, I was accepting my MBA with honors. Not that any of you knew since you never asked. My phone buzzed. Lance, Hong Kong announcement goes public tomorrow. Want me to delay? Perfect timing. Proceed as planned, I texted back. Nelson leaned forward. So, what now? You're going to hold this over our heads? Make us beg to use our own family house. Your family house? I stood, walking to the renovated kitchen. Come see what your family house looked like when I bought it. The rotting deck boards, the leaking roof, the outdated wiring that was one storm away from burning this place down. I opened a folder on the counter, spreading out before and after photos. 60,000 in repairs just to make it livable. Another 100,000 in renovations. Where was your family pride then? Trinity picked up a photo, her face paling. We didn't know it was this bad. Because none of you bothered to check. You just assumed everything would magically take care of itself. Like you assumed I'd never amount to anything. Dad stood up suddenly. That's enough. We may have made mistakes, but you're still our daughter. Am I? I turned to face him. Because from where I'm standing, I've been your afterthought for 20 years. My phone lit up with a news alert. The Hong Kong announcement had leaked early. Mom's phone buzzed seconds later, her eyes widening as she read. Vice President of International Operations, she whispered, Quinn, you're moving to Hong Kong. Among other things, I smiled, pouring myself more coffee. The merger I just closed is worth more than this house and everything in it. Trinity grabbed Mom's phone, reading aloud. Youngest executive in company history. Revolutionary merger strategy projected to triple market share. Impossible, Nelson muttered. You're just Quinn. Just Quinn. I repeated softly. Funny how that works, isn't it? The daughter you never believed in now owns your precious beach house and runs a global division. Dad sank back into his chair. Why didn't you tell us? I did. Every time I tried to talk about work, you changed the subject to Trinity's kids or Nelson's latest venture. Every achievement, every promotion met with polite disinterest. My phone buzzed again. Remington, stocks up 12% on the Hong Kong news. You're trending on LinkedIn. Mom was still staring at her phone. These numbers, Quinn, these are more money than you can imagine, I supplied. Yes, they are, and that's just the beginning. So, what happens now? Trinity asked quietly. With the reunion, with everything? I walked to the windows, looking out at the ocean I now owned. Now we do things differently. The reunion will happen, but under new management. Meaning? Nelson challenged. Meaning, I've already booked the top floor of the Four Seasons for everyone. The beach house. I turned back to them. Needs some private time with its new owner. You're kicking us out? Mom's voice cracked. No, Mom. I'm showing you what it feels like to be excluded. The difference is I'm doing it with 5-star accommodations and an ocean view. Dad stood again, this time more slowly. We deserved that. All of it. But Quinn, are you sure this is what you want? What I want? I looked at each of them in turn. What I want is 20 years of missed birthdays and ignored accomplishments. What I want is an explanation for why I was never good enough. But since I can't have those things, I pulled out a stack of hotel reservations, sliding them across the table. I'll settle for watching you all realize exactly what you missed out on. Trinity picked up a reservation, gasping at the sweet description. This must have cost less than an hour of my new salary. I cut her off. Consider it a parting gift before Hong Kong. How long? Mom asked, her voice small. How long will you be gone? I smiled, thinking of all the family events I'd missed over the years. Long enough for you to understand what absence feels like. Now, shall we discuss those new reunion roles? The silence that followed was heavy with 2 decades of regret, none of it mine. The Four Seasons lobby buzzed with activity as my family checked into their suites. I stood back, watching Trinity's kids race around the marble columns while Nelson awkwardly tried to impress the concierge with small talk. Your car is ready, Miss Quinn. The valet approached with a discreet bow. Mom's head snapped around at his tone. I saw her eyes widen as she took in my Bentley waiting outside. Quinn, she called out, hurrying over. We need to talk. Properly talk. Actually, I have a meeting. I checked my watch. The merger doesn't pause for family drama. Please, she touched my arm. The first physical contact we'd had in years. Just coffee. 20 minutes. I studied her face, noting the new wrinkles around her eyes. Fine. The rooftop lounge. 15 minutes. Upstairs, Mom fidgeted with her coffee cup while I answered urgent emails about Hong Kong. Finally, she spoke. I didn't know you were so accomplished. Clearly, I set my phone down, though you never asked. We thought, she paused, searching for words. After you dropped out of law school. I didn't drop out, I corrected sharply. I got accepted to business school instead, a full scholarship to Harvard, which you'd know if you'd bothered to read any of my letters. Your father and I, we just wanted you to have a stable career, like Trinity's law practice that she never actually started, or Nelson's string of failed startups that you kept funding. The door opened and Savannah walked in, stopping short when she saw us. Oh, sorry. I can come back. No, stay. I waved her over. Mom was just explaining why they never believed in me. Mrs. Brooks. Savannah nodded coolly. Long time no see. Though I guess you wouldn't remember me from all those holidays I spent with Quinn while you were at Trinity's house. Mom had the grace to look embarrassed. Savannah, of course I remember you. Save it. Savannah sat down. I'm just here to finalize the Hong Kong details with Quinn. You know, for her massive promotion that you all ignored. My phone buzzed. Trinity, where's Mom? She looks upset. She's fine, I texted back. Learning some hard truths. Quinn. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. Were we really that terrible? Savannah snorted, but I held up a hand. You weren't terrible, Mom. You were indifferent, which was worse. We can fix this, she pleaded. Now that we know. Now that you know I'm successful, I finished. Now that I have money and power and influence, that's not fixing things. That's just changing your mind because I proved you wrong. The door opened again. Dad, this time. Your mother's been gone a while. Oh, he saw us. Join us, I gestured to an empty chair. We're having a lovely chat about family dynamics. He sat heavily. Quinn, about the beach house. Already done, I cut him off. The back taxes are paid, the liens are cleared, and the property is fully renovated. You're welcome. That's not, he started. Not what you meant, I smiled tightly. No, it never is. Savannah opened her laptop. Quinn, we need to finalize your Hong Kong housing allowance. They're offering 3 options. The penthouse in Victoria Harbor, I said without looking. I already decided. Mom's coffee cup clattered. Penthouse. Did you think international executives live in studio apartments? Savannah asked sweetly. My phone lit up with another text. Nelson, family dinner tonight. My treat. Can't, I replied. Or dinner at Lerna Dan. Quinn. Dad leaned forward. We know we messed up, but pushing us away now. Buying the beach house. Moving to Hong Kong. Is this really the answer? I stood, smoothing my skirt. The beach house isn't about pushing you away. It's about taking control of something you never thought I deserved. As for Hong Kong, I smiled. That's just good business. When will we see you? Mom's voice cracked. I'll be back for holidays, I gathered my things. Maybe, if I'm not too busy running my division. Savannah stood with me, her face triumphant. Don't worry, Mrs. Brooks. I'm sure Trinity will keep you updated on all the family news. She always has before. As we walked out, I heard Mom start to cry. Part of me wanted to turn back to comfort her like I always had, but that part was getting smaller every day. You okay? Savannah asked in the elevator. I checked my reflection in the mirrored walls, adjusting my designer blazer. Never better. Ready for that board dinner? Born ready, she grinned. Though I have to ask, are you really going to make them stay at the hotel all reunion week? I smiled as the elevator doors opened. Oh, that's just the beginning. Wait until they see what I have planned for Christmas. The reunion dinner at the Four Seasons Ballroom was everything I'd orchestrated it to be. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead. String quartet music floated through the air. And my family sat at the main table looking thoroughly uncomfortable in their business casual attire amid the formal setting. Is all this really necessary? Nelson tugged at his borrowed tie. The concierge had supplied emergency formal wear when I'd forgotten to mention the dress code. You mean the 5-star catering, the premium open bar, the private balcony overlooking the ocean? I sipped my champagne. Consider it making up for all those reunions I missed. Trinity's husband whistled as servers presented the appetizers. This caviar is real beluga, isn't it? Only the best for family, I smiled. Though I'm sure it's nothing compared to the sandwich platters you usually serve at reunions. Mom hadn't touched her food. Quinn, can we talk privately? I led her to the balcony where the ocean breeze carried the scent of salt and money. Behind us, I could hear Trinity's kids exclaiming over the chocolate fountain. This is cruel, Mom said quietly. Cruel? I turned to face her. Treating my family to luxury is cruel? You know what I mean. Flaunting your success like this. The way you flaunted Trinity's law school graduation or Nelson's engagement party? I leaned against the railing. The parties I wasn't invited to. We were wrong, she whispered. Is that what you want to hear? What I want, I said carefully, is for you to understand exactly what you missed out on. Every promotion, every achievement, every milestone you ignored, it all led to this. To me, becoming someone who can book an entire hotel floor without blinking. The balcony door opened. Lance had arrived. Quinn. He nodded, then turned to Mom. Mrs. Brooks, I'm Lance Whitfield. I've been mentoring your daughter for the past decade. Mom's eyes widened. You're her boss, the one from the news. Actually, Lance smiled. As of next month, Quinn will be my equal in the corporate hierarchy, possibly even my superior given her trajectory. I watched Mom process this information, seeing the reality of my success finally sink in. The Hong Kong position, she said slowly. It's really that significant? Mom. I laughed. I'll be running operations for half of Asia. My signing bonus alone could buy the beach house twice over. Lance checked his watch. Speaking of which, the Tokyo office is waiting for our call, shall we? Of course, I turned to Mom. Enjoy the rest of dinner. The dessert course includes gold leaf. Try not to think about the cost. As we walked away, Lance muttered, brutal. I love it. Back in the ballroom, Remington had arrived with a surprise. Copies of tomorrow's Wall Street Journal featuring my face on the business section. Hot off the press, he announced, distributing them to my shocked family members. Thought you might want a souvenir of your daughter's success. Dad picked up a copy with trembling hands. Global market leadership, revolutionary approach to international commerce. Don't strain yourself, Dad, I called out. The numbers might be a bit overwhelming for a small-town insurance agent. Trinity was reading aloud to her husband. Youngest executive to lead Asian operations, projected to increase market share by 300% within 5 years. Quinn, Nelson, stood up suddenly. Can I talk to you about a business opportunity? Sorry, little brother. I checked my phone. My investment portfolio is fully managed, but I hear there are some great entry-level positions at my company. The string quartet began playing again as servers brought out the main course, Wagyu beef with truffle sauce. I watched my family try to maintain their composure amid the luxury they'd never imagined their forgotten daughter could provide. Your car is ready for the Tokyo call. The concierge appeared at my elbow. Thank you, James. I handed him a $100 bill. Make sure my family gets anything they need. Of course, Miss Quinn. As I gathered my things, Mom caught my arm. When will you be back? From Hong Kong. I looked around the ballroom at the opulence, at my stunned family. At the life I'd built without them. You know what, Mom? I'm not sure, but don't worry. I'll send pictures just like you all did with the reunion photos all these years. Walking out, I heard Remington announcing to the room, "And wait until you hear about her new penthouse in Victoria Harbor." The sound of my heels on marble echoed through the lobby, each step taking me further from the family that never believed in me and closer to the empire I'd built on their doubt. Let them eat Wagyu, I thought, and choke on every golden bite. The morning sun painted the beach house in golden light as I packed the last of my essentials for Hong Kong. Savannah sat on my bed, helping me sort through old photos I'd found in the attic. "Look at this one." She held up a faded picture. "Your 10th birthday. You're the only one looking at the camera while everyone fawns over Trinity's new puppy." A knock at the door interrupted my response. Mom stood in the doorway holding a small wooden box. "Can I come in?" she asked quietly. I nodded, continuing to pack. She sat on the edge of the bed, turning the box in her hands. "I found this in our attic," she said. "It's everything I saved about you. Everything I was too proud to admit I kept." She opened the box. Inside were newspaper clippings, honor roll certificates, even the program from my MBA graduation they'd skipped. "You kept these?" My hands stilled on a silk blouse. "Every single one," she whispered. I told myself I was being practical, not encouraging pipe dreams. But really, I was scared. Scared of what? That you'd succeed where I failed. That you'd break free from the small-town life I settled for. She pulled out a business magazine from last year, one with my name in a 30 under 40 feature. "And you did." Savannah stood quietly. "I'll give you 2 a minute." "No." I caught her arm. "Stay. You're more family than most of them have been." My phone buzzed. "Trinity, at the beach. Can we talk?" "Send her up," I texted back. Minutes later, Trinity appeared, looking uncertain in the doorway. "Nelson's here, too. And Dad. We wanted to see you before you left." They filed in, creating a cramped audience in my bedroom. Nelson clutched a manila envelope. "What's that?" I nodded toward it. "Investment proposals," he admitted. "But not for me, for the beach house. We've all contributed, if you'll let us." I raised an eyebrow. "I don't need your money." "We know," Dad stepped forward. "But we need to invest in something we should have invested in years ago. Our family." "Pretty words," I said, "but actions speak louder." "Then let our actions show you." Trinity pulled out her phone. "I've postponed my partnership acceptance, taking a sabbatical. Thought maybe I could visit you in Hong Kong. Really get to know my sister. And I've enrolled in business courses," Nelson added. "Online classes. Thought maybe you could mentor me. Actually do it right this time." Mom opened her box again, pulling out one last item, a key. "We don't expect you to forgive us," she said. "But maybe we can build something new, something better." I looked at the key. "What's this for?" "The front door," she smiled sadly. "I kept it all these years, thinking it meant something, but you showed us what really matters isn't keys or houses or reunions. It's the people we choose to become." Savannah squeezed my hand as I took the key. "I'm still going to Hong Kong," I said firmly. "We know," they replied in unison. "And I'm still angry." "You should be," Dad acknowledged. "And this doesn't fix everything." "Nothing could," Mom said softly. "But maybe it's a start." I walked to the window, looking out at our ocean. My ocean. Behind me, I heard the rustle of Nelson's papers. Trinity's nervous breathing. Mom's box of hidden pride. "The reunion," I said finally, "will alternate between here and Hong Kong, and you'll all need passports." The tension broke. Trinity laughed through tears. Nelson dropped his envelope, and Dad had to sit down. "Really?" Mom's voice shook. "Really?" I turned back to them. "But not because you've earned it. Because I choose it. There's a difference." Savannah grinned. "Does this mean I get to plan the Hong Kong reunion?" "Because I have ideas." "You're all going to learn Mandarin," I continued. "And proper business etiquette and how to navigate international markets." "Whatever it takes," Nelson said, and for once I believed him. My phone buzzed. "Lance, car's here for the airport." That's my cue. I picked up my carry-on. "Quinn." Mom stood. "Thank you. Not for the forgiveness we don't deserve, but for the chance we didn't earn." I looked at them all. My imperfect, struggling, finally trying family. Don't waste it. Walking down to the waiting car, I heard them following. Saw their reflections in the polished black paint. Not chasing me anymore, but walking with me. Different, but possible. Hong Kong won't know what hit it, Savannah declared, hugging me goodbye. I smiled, thinking of the view from my new office, the family learning to speak my language, the future expanding like the horizon before us. Neither will they, I said, and got in the car. The beach house stood proud behind us, no longer a symbol of exclusion, but a bridge between who we were and who we might become. Not perfect, but possible.